welcome to Information Please, your Peoria Public Library on the air, bringing you information and news about your library and the community. I'm Roberta Koszalski, sitting in for your usual host, Tricia Nowak. Today our guest is Sherry Chris from Lincoln Branch of Peoria Public Library, where you're a library assistant. Hi, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Now, how long have you been at Lincoln Branch?
I have been with Lincoln Library since 1998. So I've been there 16 years this past March.
Okay. And is that when you were hired at the library? Is that where you started? Have you worked at any other locations?
No, Lincoln's the only location.
Okay, so that's your
Where
home.
I've worked. Yes, that's home for me.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, we're talking about, among other things, Spanish language materials today. And why are we talking about Lincoln Branch in regards to Spanish language materials? You have a special program going on there.
Yes, I do. Lincoln Library actually hosts an ESL program, English as a second language, for our Latino American individuals that live in our community. It's a program that I made it a personal goal of mine to spearhead at Lincoln Branch once we began to see a influx or a number of Latino Americans beginning to use the facility. And a lot of them that we noticed had the language barrier there. They knew very little or no English at all. So my goal was to actually set out to look for individuals within the community, volunteers, students, Bradley students, educators, whomever would take the bite, to see if they would partner on with me to do something like this in the community. And fortunately, I did find one person.
Okay, now you're wanting partners, which is wonderful. How much Spanish do you know?
I know absolutely none.
That's how much I know. So okay, so obviously you needed someone from staff or community to help, and who did you find?
I found Rosa Lopez, who is an educator. She's actually an elementary school teacher, and she is a wonderful, wonderful individual with the students. She has such a heart and a compassion for what she does. And Rosa also is a former librarian as well. So when our paths crossed again, it was just so, it was ironic, first of all, and then it was just like a great partnership.
Perfect fit.
Yeah, it was a perfect fit, and we came together, and she has done a tremendous job with the students.
So who are the students? They're adults?
Yes.
Adults, okay.
Yes.
And men and women?
Men and women.
Okay. And what is there English as a second language classes?
Yes.
And when do they meet?
They meet on Monday and Thursday evenings. Class starts at 6 o'clock p.m. And they're done approximately like at 7:30. So 6 to 7:30 on Monday and Thursday evenings. Those are their meeting dates.
And how much does it cost?
There is no charge.
Okay, that's another perfect fit.
Right, absolutely free.
Okay. So do you have to enroll for a semester, or how do you get started if someone is watching and they know somebody who might benefit from English as a second language classes?
Well, normally, of course, through library advertisement, through passages and other informational channels, word of mouth. If an individual finds themselves interested, most of the time they will call, and at times they may have someone else call because they don't speak any English at all, so another family member or a child may actually call to inquire about mom, dad, or older sister or brother being interested in participating in the program. And what we do is we take their information and we actually transfer that information on over to Mrs. Lopez, and she contacts the individual. Once she contacts them, she sets up an interview with them to assess their needs.
Where they are with their English language skills.
Where they are with
probably.
their English language skills. and also exactly what it is that they're looking for.
Okay.
So,
Before we get too far, I want to make sure you said that people should call Lincoln Branch
That's
to
correct.
To find out more information about the Spanish English as a second language classes.
That's
What
correct.
number should they call?
that is area code 309-497-2600. And you ask for Sherry, and I will be the individual that would get you set up with an interview with Mrs. Lopez, and we just take it from there.
And so it's kind of open entry, so you don't have to start in August or January. A
No.
new person could come into class
Yes, at any given
anytime
time.
they're ready.
Right.
Twice a week.
Right, they can come in at any given time, and I think that's great as well, because you have individuals, sometimes it's important. There's moms whose children are getting ready to start kindergarten, actually, and what I'm just finding out is that in that community, the children are not taught English until they actually start attending school. So
The parents don't know English.
right.
Aren't-
So
yeah.
once the child enters into school, especially into District 150 here, now there's the language barrier.
Right.
And now the mom's interested in, I've got to do something. I've got to learn to communicate with my the child's teacher. I've got to learn, so there's a lot of things they need to learn right along with their child who is now entering school. So
So about how many people are in the class?
the class has been as large as 18. Right now, it's a little smaller. We have steadily a number of 6 to 10 students that come on a regular basis.
Well, it's good because it's not scary. A
No,
person coming in with, if you're new to the class, 18, 20, more, that could be scary, but
right, and it
6 to
and it
10.
can be very intimidating as well. So it's a very comfortable setting. And one thing I can say is when they come together, the class, they come together as a family. It's like they come together as a family, they bond very quickly. And it's just it's a wonderful thing.
They're all going through the same thing.
Right.
So now you mentioned there could be parents of school children, and you meet 2 nights a week. Do they ever bring their children?
Yes, some do.
Okay. And so is there anything that goes on at the library at the same time as the class for the kids? Or
Actually, what I do is I provide a recreation or a activity for the children that are there on the premises. We may set up and have a movie, and they'll watch it in Spanish.
and so will you. Okay.
Yes, we'll watch it in Spanish. I will do a story time in which I have to have an interpreter. So one thing Ms. Lopez has done for me is provided a teenager, a high schooler, that will set in with me as well. So as I'm speaking with the children, they will interpret what I'm saying.
Okay.
Or I can read a story to them in English, and then the interpreter would turn around and read it in Spanish to them.
Okay.
You know.
Boy, I would like to sit in on one of those.
So,
That would be very interesting.
Yes, so we'll do a story time such as that. And a lot of times when I do a story time, I also try to interact with having a craft that goes along with that particular story. So we'll do a movie, we'll do an arts and a story time and a craft. We'll have an arts and crafts night. So it's just a variety of things that we do with the kids. It's summertime now, so it's nothing to see us outside with sidewalk chalk.
Yes,
Letting the kids do designs and things like that. So it's just a number of activities we may do.
Great. So now what are the adults learning? Are they learning like conversational English, or what kinds of things?
They're learning conversational English. They're also learning how to tackle things that causes them to have to survive in America. They're taught to, first of all, get a new library card,
Yes.
fill out their citizenship papers, insurance papers, very important documents, anything that may pertain to the DREAM Act, the DREAM Act, a policy, or it's a permit or something that they have to, some have to apply for in order to go to school and in order to, work and that type of thing. So various forms, various important forms that are needed to be filled out. They're taught how to do that, how to get information on how to ride the bus around town. And just like I said, a lot of things, life skills, things that help them not only in Peoria, but their stay in America, period. And then, of course, there's their learning, where they're learning their grammar, they're learning their English words, they're learning how to write short sentences, creating short stories. They have worksheets that they work from. We have made the computer lab available so that they can access Mango languages, but right now that's still kind of, it's kind of soon for them, but it is a goal that eventually they will be able to go to the lab and access Mango and, use that particular
database or software.
Database. So yes.
Well, and people might not know, if they're watching, what Mango language is, what that database is on our website, and we've had that for a couple of years now. And it's not just for Spanish speakers or English speakers trying to learn Spanish. There's a whole list of languages you can learn online, just through the PeoriaPublicLibrary.org website.
Right.
So under databases and Mango languages.
That's correct.
So another great resource, and thank you for bringing that up.
Yes. So that's my goal, to get them to using that. So
and so it sounds like Ms. Lopez is teaching everything in terms of speaking English, reading English, writing. You mentioned writing.
Yes.
And then both the conversational and life skills.
Yes.
So, boy, what a great opportunity for people to come to Lincoln Branch for free and have these classes twice a week with some, not calling it childcare, but child activities to keep the kids occupied during the hour-and-a-half sessions. So that's terrific.
Yes.
Now, we've got these piles of books in front of us, which, as people who work at the library, this is the way we're most comfortable. These are all mostly Spanish language, and the Illinois State Library provided a grant opportunity almost a year ago in the fall, and that you could apply for up to $3,000 for a collection of materials that met a certain need, a specific need. And we thought about Lincoln Branch, and as you mentioned, the fact that more Latino Americans are using the branch, and we've got the wonderful classes, but do we have the supporting materials in Spanish?
Right.
And so we did apply for the $3,000 to purchase materials, and we found that was in November, and we found out this past February that we did receive the grant, and which was terrific. And I have to say and read our acknowledgement of this, so we can officially thank the Illinois State Library. And that acknowledgement is: funding for this grant was awarded by the Illinois State Library, a division of the Office of the Secretary of State, using funds provided by the Institute of Museum and Library Services under the Federal Library Services and Technology Act. So that's where the funds came from.
Okay.
So the next step, we received the money, and now the selection of materials, which I believe that your supervisor, branch head Cynthia Smith, did, perhaps with help from Mrs. Lopez and you and the other staff members of Lincoln Branch. So let's show off some of these items. What we did, some of the items have been cataloged, and they're already in the Lincoln Branch collection on display at the branch. And then I raided our technical services department this morning because new items continue to come in from the grant. And so these on my side of the table are books that aren't yet at Lincoln Branch. They're being cataloged and processed, and they'll be coming out in the next few days and weeks.
I'm sure they'll be excited to receive them.
So what did you bring?
I brought we have found out that a lot of our Latino American readers are very fond of John Grisham and his novels. And here, this one is titled The Associate in English. And so I brought a couple of his books to show here, and this one here by John Grisham as well, The Appeal.
And-
So,
And of course, books like these are in Spanish.
yes, they are.
And a person might be thinking, well, you're teaching people English, why aren't they reading English books? Well, if you're starting from scratch in a new language, you're not going to be able to pick up your favorite author in your new
English.
language.
Right.
So still, people are bilingual, and they have the opportunity to read their favorite authors in their native language.
That's correct.
So-
That's correct. And for our children, we have gotten, I know one of America's favorite, the Harry Potter's books. And this is the first one in the Harry Potter series, which is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So we have the whole collection of these written in Spanish. So, I think the kids are going to enjoy. They're going to enjoy these, and of course, we've got coming. To my understanding, I think we've got GED books
Yes.
that are in Spanish, and then other books that provide curriculum, educational curriculum for the students as well. So a lot of nonfiction books that are going to be very helpful to those that are
Yes.
in the ESL class.
Yes, Cynthia did a wonderful job of selecting books across reading or interest levels. She's got about 1/3 for adults, about 1/3 for teens, and about 1/3 for children. And then a nice mix of fiction and nonfiction, as well as the language learning, the English as a second language, what do you have with the rubber bands?
This one here is actually the rubber band, the attachment.
Just to keep them together.
It's just to keep them together, is correct. But this is a book here, English the American Way. It's another book that can be used very well with having fun with ESL. And this here is a CD-ROM that goes
Oh,
along
it
with the
uses
book.
in the computer.
Yes, that
Okay.
you can put in the computer and play along. And there's activities and things involved as well on the CD-ROM. So it's just comes as a pair here.
Okay. And of course, all of these materials, you don't have to be in the ESL class to check them out.
No.
Anybody can check them out right off the Lincoln, I won't say shelves, because they're on display on a table right as you come in the door, so
Right.
they're easy to see. But anybody with a library card can check them out. And also, as we add them to the collection, they're on our online catalog, which is available through our website. And so if someone who doesn't typically go to Lincoln Branch, someone from any of our other locations or throughout the Resource Sharing Alliance can find them and put holds on them and check them out as well.
correct,
So we
yes.
really want them to circulate a lot so we
Yes.
can tell the State Library that this is a popular collection and please consider us for future grants.
Yes.
You have another well-known name right there on the top,
James Patterson.
Cross.
Yes. So this is another one of our selections in the fiction section.
Okay.
So, but yes, these are some of the popular authors that
Anybody
they
reads.
enjoy.
Yes.
Yes, yes, everybody over, across the border, I think enjoys James Patterson. So, yes, so there's another one. And then we have the ESL. So if you have other individuals that are out there that are interested in looking for material and teaching an ESL class, we will have materials available
That's a
as
great
well.
point, Sherry.
to check out, so if you need to if you're looking to spearhead your own program, whether it's for Spanish or for another native
Yeah,
language.
because that one, it says ESL and ELL, is that, I think that's English language learners.
Yes.
So it can be teaching someone who has any other native language,
That's
just some
correct.
ideas. So
That's
that could-
correct.
Yeah, so
So,
that's a
yes.
great source too.
So, and that's,
There's one more.
we've got one more here. And this one here, it provides the information that is in here. The words, as you can tell here, a lot of them are, they're in English first and then they're referenced in Spanish.
Okay.
So, yes, so. And this is another workbook. It's an ESL workbook as well. So,
And now I know that typically we don't purchase a lot of workbooks because they'll get checked out and people will forget that this is a library book and start filling out,
Right.
filling in the blanks and doing the exercises. So I know that there will be a few of these which will be kept at reference for people to refer
Use
to
in the library only,
and
yes.
use the, for teachers to get ideas on activities. And then, you know, but most of what we're showing are available to check out.
yes.
As I said, I raided our technical services department this morning to bring some things that you haven't seen yet, but that will be coming to Lincoln Branch soon. And I guess I'll start with the adult materials. And I'm going to quickly pull out the processing slips and put them back in before I return them.
Okay.
Isabel Allende, which I don't know if that's a correct pronunciation, but she's an award-winning author from Chile, I believe. And so we've got a number of books by her coming in. And I thought I had another, yes. Joanna Lindsay,
Another popular author.
a popular author, and this is
Yes.
actually part of a series. And I noticed several books in this series, the Saga Mallory series, and it's a romance for anyone who's interested in those. I won't try to pronounce the titles because that would be bad. Now this one I looked at this morning, and Calibri. And this book is actually in English, and we're getting materials too through this grant that are of interest to the Latino population. And this is a book that takes place in Guatemala. And it's, you know, so it's a storyline that hopefully will be of interest. It's on a young adult level, but it would be interesting to both adults and teens. And I think actually in the review I read, it's suitable as far down as middle school as a reading level. So, so another
Great.
way we're trying to get our new populations involved. This one, 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. So that's, once again, in Spanish. You showed your CD-ROM for the computer. This one, rubber banded together, Living Language English, and this is English for Spanish speakers. And just like the item you showed, it looks like we've got English sentences in blue, and the Spanish is in black in here. And so you can then listen along and practice your pronunciation on CDs. There's 3 CDs. And actually, Beverly in Technical Services, when she showed me these this morning, there's 3 levels. This one is the essential, so it's more conversational, the life skills, as you were talking about. And then there's 2 more sets. There's a book and a set of CDs that are intermediate, and then one that's advanced. So, you know, if you have people that native language is Spanish, they have a pretty good knowledge of English. They might be too advanced for the ESL class, but they still want to learn more. The intermediate and advanced of these will be coming to Lincoln Branch as well.
Okay. I was looking, I thought, oh, that would be a very, very good.
Yeah, coming soon.
Yes.
Okay,
Very
you
good
don't
book
need to know
use.
Spanish. All you have to do is look at the cover art of
Yes.
these. Classic Charlotte's Web and Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Very popular.
in Spanish. And then I just couldn't resist pulling these two off the trucks this morning. Once again, you don't need to know Spanish to recognize the covers, especially Curious George. Everyone
Correct.
knows him, and Rainbow Fish. Rainbow Fish picture book is just in Spanish. Curious George is in Spanish and English, so that has many opportunities. In this case, the English is in black, Spanish is in red. So a mom from your class could read the story in Spanish to her little one, and the child could maybe read the story in English to her. It's very excited about these.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Okay, let's see. We're getting to the end, and I just want to give you the opportunity to, if there's anything you want to let us know that's also going on at Lincoln Branch.
Oh, boy, we have a number of things that are coming
Okay.
up. September is going to be an exciting month. Let's see, I know on September the 13th, there will be a mother-daughter book discussion.
Okay.
And we will be reading one of the books from, it's part of the Sugar Plum Ballerina collections called Terrible Terrell. And it is written by actress Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, so we will have a book discussion on Saturday, the 13th, from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And all of the little girls are more than welcome to wear their little tutu designed outfits if they like. You know, the tulle is becoming very popular with the fashions anymore now, with the little girls especially. So we're encouraging those that are participating to wear their tulle, wear their tutu.
Thank you. That's a nice ad for that.
Yes.
I want to make sure that people remember again, we were talking about the Spanish language materials, and tell me again your phone number.
It's
so people can call you.
497-2600.
Okay, call Sherry at Lincoln Branch
Yes.
to enroll in an ESL class.
That's correct.
Thank you, Sherry.
Oh, you're welcome.
And thank you for watching Information Please, your Peoria Public Library on the air. See you next week.